story timers! It's your favorite story timer, Annie, and her best pal, Big E. And tonight we're going to be reading The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynn Reed Banks. Big E decided that, didn't you, Big E? Alright, now let's begin. We start on page 84, and luckily it's the beginning of a sentence, or else it would have been really confusing to the audience. And at the end, I'm going to show you guys something really special. "Why are you in such a hurry to get rid of us?" asked Gillian suspiciously. "Just go. You know you have to get out of my room when I ask you." He could hear the little horse whinnying again, and it did not sound a bit like a dolphin. "That sounds just like a pony," said Idio. "Oh, Beard, it's a pony. A tiny, witchy little pony under my bed," said Omri mockingly. At last they went, not without glancing back suspiciously several times, and Omri slammed the door, bolted it, and leaned against it with closed eyes. "Is it a pony?" whispered Patrick agog. Omri nodded. Then he opened his eyes, lay down again, and peered under the bed. "Give me that flashlight from the chest of drawers." Patrick gave it to him and lay beside him. They peered together at the beam propped the darkness. They peered together as the beam propped the darkness. "Crumbs," breathed Patrick reverently. "It's true." The horse was standing seemingly alone, whinnying. When the light hit him, he stopped and turned his head. Omri could see a pair of leggings behind him. "It's all right, little bear. It's me," said Omri. Slowly a crest of feathers and then a pair of eyes appeared over the top of the horse's back. "Who others?" he asked. "My brothers. It's okay. They didn't see you." "Little bear here coming. Take horse. Run. Hide." "Good. Come on out and meet my friend Patrick." Little bear jumped astride the horse and rode proudly out, wearing his new cloak and headdress. He gazed up imperiously at Patrick, who gazed back in wonder. Then he nodded to Patrick, who tried several times to say something, but his voice just came out as a squeak. "Omri's friend, Little Bear's friend," said Little Bear magnanimously. Patrick swallowed. His eyes seemed in danger of popping right out of his head. Little Bear waited politely, but when Patrick didn't speak, he rode over to the sea tray. The brothers had brought it out from behind the crate. They had been careful, but the ramp had got moved. Omri hurried to put it back, and Little Bear rode the horse up it, dismounted, and tied it by its halter to the post he had driven into the compost. Then he went calmly on with his work on his longhouse. Patrick licked his lips, swallowed twice more, and croaked out, "He's real! He's a real live Indian!" "I told you." "How did it happen?" "Don't ask me. Something to do with this cupboard, or maybe it's the key. It's very old. You lock plastic people inside and they come alive." Patrick goggled at him. "You mean it's only him?" "You can do it with any toy?" "Only plastic ones." An incredulous grin spread over Patrick's face. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's bring loads of things to life. Whole armies." And he sprang toward the biscuit tins. Omri grabbed him. "No, wait! It's not so simple." Patrick, his hands already full of soldiers, was making for the cupboard. "Why not?" "Because don't you see? They'd be real." "Real? What do you mean?" "Little Bear isn't a toy. He's a real man. He really lived, maybe still, I don't know. He's in the middle of his life somewhere in America in 17-something or other. He's from the past." Omri struggled to explain as Patrick looked blank. "I don't get it." "Listen, Little Bear has told me about his life. He's fought in wars and scalped people and grown stuff to eat, like marrows and stuff, and had a wife. She died. He doesn't know how he got here, but he thinks it's magic, and he accepts magic. He believes in it. He thinks I am some kind of spirit or something. What I mean," Omri persisted as Patrick's eyes strayed longingly to the cupboard, "is that if you put all those men in there, when they came to life, they'd be real men in real lives of their own, from their own times and countries, talking their own languages. You couldn't just set them up and make them do what you wanted them to. They'd do what they wanted to. Or they might get terrified and run away, or, well, one I tried it with an old Indian man. Actually died of fright when he saw me. Look, if you don't believe me. And Omri opened the cupboard. There lay the body of the old chief, now made of plastic, but still unmistakably dead. And not dead the way some plastic soldiers are made to look dead, but the way real people look, crumbled up, empty. Patrick picked it up, turning it in his hand. He'd put the soldiers down by now. This isn't the one you bought at lunchtime? Yes. Crumbs. You see. Where's his address? Little Bear took it. He says he's a chief now. It's made him even more bossy and difficult than before, said Omri, using a word his mother often used when he was insisting on having his own way. Patrick put the dead Indian down hurriedly and wiped his hand on the seat of his jeans. Maybe this isn't such fun as I thought. Omri considered for a moment. No, he agreed soberly. It's no fun. They stared at Little Bear. He had finished the shell of the longhouse now. Taking off his headdress, he tucked it under his arm, stooped, and entered through the low doorway at one end. After a moment, he came out and looked up at Omri. Little Bear hungry, he said. You get deer? Bear? Moose? No. He scowled. I say get. Why you not get? The shops are shut. Besides, added Omri, thinking he sounded rather feeble, especially in front of Patrick, I'm not sure I like the idea of having bears shambling about my room, or of having them killed. I'll get you meat and a fire, and you can cook it, and that will have to do. Little Bear looked baffled for a moment. Then he swiftly put on the headdress and drew himself to his full height of almost 3 inches, 3 1/4 with the feathers. He folded his arms and glared at Omri. Little Bear chief now. Chief hunts, kills own meat, not take meat others kill. If not hunt, lose skill with bow. For today you give meat, tomorrow go shop, get bear plastic. Make real. I hunt, not here, he added, looking up scornfully at the distant ceiling. Out, under sky, now, fire. Patrick, who had been crouching, stood up. He too seemed to be under Little Bear's spell. I'll run and get the tar, he said. No, wait a minute, said Omri. I've got another idea. He ran downstairs. Fortunately, the living room was empty. In the coal scuttle, beside the open fireplace, was a packet of firelighers. He broke a fairly large bit off one and wrapped it in a scrap of newspaper. Then he went to the kitchen. His mother was standing at the sink peeling apples. If you like apples, then make that red apple subscribe button turn a moldy gray. And I know you do love apples, so if you don't love apples, then you can let that red apple subscribe button turn a moldy gray. Sorry for my confusion. Anyways, back to the apples. Omri hesitated, then went to the refrigerator. Don't eat now, Omri. It's nearly supper time. Just a tiny bit, he said. There was a lovely chunk of raw meat on the plate. Omri sniffed his fingers, wiped them hard on his sweater to get the stink of the firelighter off them, then took a big carving knife from the drawer and, with an anxious glance at his mother's back, began sawing a corner off the meat. Luckily, it was steak and cut easily. Even so, he nearly had the whole plate off the shelf and onto the floor before he got his corner off. His mother swung around just as he closed the refrigerator door. A tiny bit of what? She asked. She often reacted late to things, he said. Nothing, he said, hiding the raw bit of meat in his hand. Mom, could I borrow a tin plate? And that's where we're going to end it, on page 89. And now, I can show you the cool thing. Here is a box with the word free on it. There's a glare. I know you can't see the free, but it's there. And then, if I open the box, there are things inside. And if I take out a certain thing, ta-da! This is Little Bear, the plastic Indian, and just behind him is the key. No, you can't really see it. Here, key, all key. Down the back of Little Bear. Ta-da! This is the thing. I didn't open it because my dad specifically told me that this was a piece of merchandise and should not be opened. I also have another lot of cool figurines, and I know this isn't related, but I've got a Hermione and a Harry figurine. See, this is Hermione from the 3rd movie. And this is Harry Potter. He has his wand. Harry here. And then I have a cooler Harry Potter, complete with a cloak. Doesn't he look much cooler with a cloak? And if you look closely, you'll see a red marking for his lightning bolt-shaped scar. Well, this seems to be the end. Tune in next time for more awesome adventures with Anytime Storytime and her lovable pal, Big E. Goodbye, guys!